Hey everyone, welcome back to HHWJ. We haven't been here in about a month, and a lot has changed since we've been here. Dave had a baby.
Woohoo!
I did.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
What's the baby's name?
Baby Oliver.
Baby Oliver. How's he doing?
Shout out to Oliver. He's good. He's growing like a weed. He's born. He was a big boy. He was born 9 pounds 10 ounces.
Big.
And he's already, so he's not, he'll be a month old on Saturday, but he's 11 pounds 12 ounces currently.
He's girthy.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
So Max and Ollie, that sounds like the name of a store.
Yeah, like a clothing line or like a surfboard shop.
Yeah, I'm thinking skateboarding, surfing,
yeah.
the Ollie thing. Max and Ollie, yo. All right, go down there and check it out.
Yeah.
I get my weed from Max and Ollie's.
All right, man.
Dave's very
Anyway, congrats.
Thanks.
What else has changed? My voice has changed since last time we came.
Your voice has changed. You recently took a trip.
I did.
Where'd you go?
I went to Nashville. I almost got discovered.
Tell me more.
What does that mean?
Well, for anyone who's ever been to Nashville, it's just a shit ton of bars with live music. So I just did my best to stand out to the crowd, and it worked. Lost my voice, but I didn't get discovered yet. I'll be there. I'm pretty close.
You didn't lose your virginity?
Almost, but no.
Good.
Tommy, what's new with you, man?
I also lost my voice, not because of Nashville, but because of Belding, Michigan. I was at the Ionia Boys Golf Outing.
Belding, Michigan.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
home of the Gus Macker.
the Gus Macker basketball tournament.
Yeah, that's where it
That's a
originated.
Michigan. That's a
I thought
Michigan
that was
thing.
in Ludington.
Absolutely. No, Belding is the home.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Wow, I haven't heard
For
Gus
sure.
Macker in a long time.
Great time.
That you know what Gus Macker reminds? So Gus Macker was around the same time that Big Johnson T-shirts were around. You remember Big Johnson
Yes, I
T-shirts?
do. Was it poker in the front, and
Sticker in the rear?
sticker in the rear, or something like that?
Ooh,
don't
I
know.
like that. Oh,
I know,
what?
we know that game.
Sorry, that's weird.
Around the same time.
Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Who do we have with us? Who's our guest today?
Well, we have Evan with us. Say hi, Ev.
Hi, Ev.
Good one. So Evan is our OP Shining Star, and he just did an eyebrow raise, which is embarrassing. But,
Eyebrow raised with a drink.
Right, for
Yeah,
sure.
they're lucky they can't see this.
But honestly, Evan's probably the hardest working 22-year-old that I've ever met.
You're only 22?
22, Taylor
Wow.
Swift birthday.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor Swift birthday.
What's
Oh,
that
yeah.
mean?
Your
like-
birthday's the same day as
Her
Taylor
song,
Swift?
22, ooh, ooh, that one.
Oh.
Can you give us a lyric or two? We don't
That's
know.
all
it.
I know. It feels like one of those nights. Yeah.
Okay.
That
And
was
she goes,
good.
22, ooh, ooh. No? Big
Never-
Taylor Swift guy over here.
Okay.
Love
And
her.
for obvious reasons, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
So Dave wanted to talk about the FDIC.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
I don't even know. I don't know what the words mean, but something
The
big happened. I heard.
I didn't know it
So
was possible to make us sound dumber than we are.
the FDIC.
The FCLQBD. What is
The
it?
FDIC. So Tom, I want your. You don't know anything about this, do you?
Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation?
Yeah, but do you know what the news is?
I have not heard the news. No,
Okay,
are we breaking news right now?
Yeah. Well, so I'm,
Hold on, before you
Breaking
start.
news.
Evan, sometimes you black out. Pay attention because this could affect you. Go ahead, Dave.
all right. So I saw something interesting on the news. I'm glad you don't know anything about it because I'm just curious to see what you're like. You guys are. We're all going to share Tom's reaction right now. So, the FDIC board
Uh-huh.
approved. So basically, they're not going to be doing appraisals potentially on properties under $400,000. So that came out back in like I just looked it up like November of 2018. There was an article on it, and what I'm hearing is that it got approved today. So how do you think that affects the real estate market?
Well, I'm a little confused because I didn't know FDIC has anything to do with appraisals at all. So if that is a thing that trickles down to Fannie and Freddie, that'd be pretty cool. But how's it going to be done? Just like based on algorithms?
Yeah,
Like
it's
a Zillow
all
type thing?
automation. It's all
So
automation.
I've been noticing with the rates dropping, we've been doing a lot of refis, and there's a thing called a property inspection waiver where it's like you kind of run it through Fannie and it comes back and it's like, all right, you don't need to do an appraisal on that house. That's been happening like crazy. I've seen more PIWs than I've ever seen in my life.
Those are like the happiest moments of my life.
They make people happy. And
So-
we get them on, if someone's putting 20% down on a purchase, we see them too.
So yeah, you typically see it when someone's putting at least 20% down, right?
Yep.
Like they'll say, okay,
Sometimes.
there's enough juice, there's enough squeeze here for us to go ahead and
Right.
waive the appraisal if it's in a growing market or even a stable market, probably, right? I would think.
Right, there's an algorithm that says, okay, yeah, I think that house has 20% equity or more. So.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I've seen an uptick of them lately too. We haven't got one in a while, but
We had like 5 or 6 in a row though.
Isn't it funny how it freaks clients? Like, I call a client, I'm like, great news, you don't have to do an appraisal. And they'll be like, what do you mean? I want to do an appraisal.
I know, it's hilarious. Clients are like, well, what if it's not worth that much? Should we do an appraisal?
Right.
Like, well, you can spend $500, but it's probably going to appraise right at your purchase price.
Right.
so here's a quick little value add for everyone. So Jamie, we just had an offer we sent out last week, right? And the seller, so we represented the buyer. The seller was super, super concerned about the appraisal. Our client was putting a large sum of money down, way more than 20%. And
Like 40%, right?
40 to 50% down. No, it was 50% down. They're putting literally 50% down on this transaction. And the agent comes back to us and says, hey, if you can increase your inspection waiver,
Appraisal waiver.
appraisal waiver, my bad, the deal's yours. Well, the buyer was a little nervous about that. Okay, they didn't want to do it. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, they're putting $200K down in a city that's popular. It's not important, but it's popular, right? And it's basically like for you agents out there that are trying to explain this to your clients, it's smoke and mirrors, right? Especially if you know they're putting at least 20% down. The probability of you getting a PIW is much increased at 20% or more down.
Oh, yeah.
Would
Yeah,
you agree with
well,
that?
you're not going to get one if it's less than 20%.
Right.
If you're putting less than 20% down, you're not going to get one, period.
Well, and at the end of the day, so like the appraisal waiver that they asked for was like, it was what, 2-3% of the purchase price, right?
Yes.
Ish? Yeah,
Yes.
it was like 2 or 3% of the purchase price. So at the end of the day, if the appraisal would have came in that low, like you're putting so much money down, it doesn't even matter at that point.
It does, because you know, even though you're putting 50% down, you don't want to overpay for a house, and it's all perception, right? The buyer
Hold
want
on,
to feel like they're paying more,
but you just use the word overpay.
pay more than what the contract price
Right,
says.
but there were 7 other offers on the house. So
Understand.
at that point, like, what is overpaying?
Right. Like, me and Devo talked about this one time. It was like last year, and I was like, how do you explain that? You know, how do you explain to your client that they're getting a good deal when they have to pay at or below? Like, a lot of times buyers out there think, like, I had a client like this too, who I'm no longer working with, but the only value they saw in me as an agent was, hey, unless you can get me an offer accepted for less than what they're asking, then you're of no other value to me. I can do this on my own, right? So I decided to part ways. Like, it is what it is. I mean, there's more business out there, right? But, you know, how do you explain that to a client? How would you say you explain it to a client, Tom? Especially when they feel like, obviously the market's a seller's market, it's hot, and you got to sometimes go in at asking or above.
Right. I think just like any sales situation, you have to understand what's important to the client. So that client that you had to part ways with, their most important thing was getting a house under market price, right? That was what's important to them. And that might not align with your goals as a salesperson, especially when you're trying to get something in Royal Oak. So I don't know. It comes back down to what are you trying to accomplish? If you want to find if you're going to have a baby soon and you need to move in the next 3 or 4 months, then we're going to have to go over asking on some of this stuff, especially in these hot markets. But yeah, explaining that is a weird thing to do to people, because they look at you like it's your job to negotiate me the best price, but the best price might not be really what they want to achieve.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
And it's challenging because they know that we're making commission, right? So like a lot of times I feel like in the back of their head when we're explaining these things, they're like, dude, you just want to fucking make a paycheck, right? Like we're trying to like talk them, quote unquote, talk them into doing the right thing, whether that's paying asking price or above asking price. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of times in the back of the client's head, they're like, well, you're just trying to get the deal done.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you all of my commission that's above asking price.
Right, exactly.
I mean, what's it going to be? $700?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Ev, do you ever run into that?
Yeah, one time someone actually like calculated it
Okay.
because
Tell
there
us
was
about
multiple offers, and I just told them, we have to come in strong if you really want this house. And I said, I know that you and your wife instantly, your jaw dropped, you loved it. I haven't seen that kind of reaction from you yet, so I want to make sure we win out on this one, so that you guys are happy at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, rates are low, that's going to affect what you pay way more than the actual initial purchase price anyways. Purchase price really means nothing compared to the term of the loan, what you're paying.
Mm-hmm.
So I just reminded them of that and said, yes, we will be paying over asking price, but it is worth over asking price. There's multiple people that want this house for a reason. And I know you don't want that house that's been sitting on the market for 100 days, right? They go, absolutely not. And just kind of talk them up the best you can.
So what did they calculate? You said they calculated something.
Yeah, he told me, he was like, well, I know you're going to make this
dollars.
much more
Yeah.
if we go 10 grand over asking. And I said, I don't care about that.
And
I want
sir,
to make
you're
sure
wrong.
you get
Do
the
you know what my
house.
splits are?
Right. Sir, I'm making $30 more.
Right. So
I mean, that's hard. Like, think about it. If, I try to put myself in those people's shoes, though, especially like a new buyer, like they've never bought a house before.
Right.
You go out with husband and wife. They're really excited. The house just comes to the market. It's in Royal Oak, and price tag's $230. You look at it. She falls in love with it. He loves it, and then you tell them we got it right at $245. They're like, "What? What are you?" Like, it's so foreign. Like, wait, you're telling me I got to pay more than what the sticker price says?
Right.
Like that's gonna shock people.
Well, it's
It
Right.
would shock people if you don't do what, Evan?
set the right expectations.
There it is.
Well, foreshadowing.
So I actually had a client who the appraisal came in low because there was multiple offers on the home, and it came in I think like $5,000 low. So they thought that being that we're now having to come up with half, we had to come up with half. The list side came up with half, get it done. They thought that meant they were violating contract, and they're going, we're gonna sue them. We're gonna sue the crap out of them. And I'm like, you can't do that. If we want to back out right now and not spend an extra $2,500, we can. But that's not the best option for you. You
Don't
want
you
the
love
house.
people? We're gonna sue 'em.
Yeah.
Also, what are you suing
was
them
terrible.
for? Just wondering.
such a
was bad.
litigious society. I just want to use the word
Yeah.
litigious.
Yeah.
I like
What does
that.
that
Such
mean?
just litigation, like
Oh.
sue lawsuits.
Susie.
That's
Can you
Susie
say that
Kid?
one more
Susie
time?
Kid. Litigious.
I like that.
All right, so moving on. So as I mentioned, we're here with OP's number one shit talker, Evan.
Wow.
Dave, you don't know Evan that well. You probably had, 3 or 4 conversations with him?
The longest conversation I had with Evan was 2 weeks ago, exactly to the day.
When you were giving him advice on contacts.
Yes.
Okay.
Like that,
And-
like in your eyes?
No, like on how many
Because
contacts.
I recommend LASIK.
LASIK, cool.
And Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't know Evan at all or anything about him until a month ago? And then you guys
Not true.
you guys started talking a lot though.
We didn't talk.
What happened though? How did you and Evan
So
like
listen, Mandy's out. Mandy, our controller, who pays every deal, and she does an excellent job of making sure that every deal that's paid out, like she goes through sync and makes sure all the splits are right and everything's like done.
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot. It's a
a lot of work.
It's a lot
It's
of work.
tedious.
Thanks,
And,
Mandy, we love you.
and Evan was
Thank you,
probably
Mandy.
the 15th of my 16 deals I had to process that day.
You were tired.
Right, I was tired. And then, he just surprises me like nobody's ever surprised me before.
So wait, so what is it fair to say you were just a little cranky at that point of the
I
day?
was a little angry at that. Yeah, I was on tilt. I was on tilt
Okay.
a little bit.
So what
Fair.
happened?
So we all know what sync is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it's a very important tool that we have in our business. It's how we keep track of our clients. It's how we stay compliant and make notes on the transaction. And it's just I would call it like the glue of how we operate as a sales organization.
Can you imagine us without sync?
I couldn't.
Me
It would be
neither.
very difficult.
What about you, Evan? Could you imagine
Same.
us?
It's like the Bible to Christianity.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So the check comes across my desk, and I'm like, "Oh, awesome! Good job, Evan. This is great. I can't wait to see where this lead came from." I go to sync. There's no lead. There's nothing there. Nothing. He didn't put anything in. Nothing. So the deal made it all the way through past closing to the point of getting paid. The guy never put it in sync once.
All right.
I
Time
closed them too quick.
Time out for 1 second.
There
Yeah,
it is.
nice line, Evan. But what the fuck, dude? Like, how the fuck do you not How do you not have the lead in sync? Like, I mean, just like on a real level. Like, I'm just curious because like I can't keep my head straight half the
So-
time. So to have a deal close without sync, without a lead in sync, without notes, without like how did that happen?
I mean, it's impressive that you could
It's
keep all that in
impressive
your
for
head,
sure.
to be honest.
So it was a Zillow lead. So thanks Range Lending, Tom, for helping cover the cost of those
Absolutely.
leads. Those are great. And so we have a different CRM, which is just the database that we keep notes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't put them in sync until I know that they're, worthwhile and I'm like actively working them right, because we would have limited space on sync. And so I didn't put them in. I ended up closing them the second time out with them, which was all within like a week of getting the lead and actually having a good conversation. So I just went after it, wrote the offer up. I actually had a negotiation specialist write the offer up.
Thank you, Ashley Edwards.
No, Andrea.
Oh, thank you, Andrea.
And so, and it was a cash deal. So naturally, cash deals close quicker. So the deal was just right there, right away, real quick. And I didn't really need notes to memorize anything. So in my head, I didn't think about the legalities and all of that, which Tom obviously explained. And so I was just thinking of it as a resource to remember stuff, which I didn't need. And so I didn't enter it in. I thought Andrea was going to enter it in. And obviously I should have just done it, but I didn't. And then I saw the angry email.
Wait, so hold on. So did you get a phone call or an email?
Email.
How did it? What happened? Like when you read the email, what did you do?
Just like
he had to change his diaper. Man.
He was
What do you
probably
mean?
mad at me.
so I was
He's
just
"You
like I don't.
motherfucker, I'm making this company money and you're busting my balls. I'm sure.
So I was just thinking, like, I don't see the important, why it's such a big deal, and then Devo explained it to me because I called Devo all mad, and he was like, I get it. He was like, I would be worse when I was your age. Trust me, I would have flipped the table.
Good old Devo.
And I said, and he explained it, so I understand it now, and it makes sense. It's not just for me to remember stuff, but it's for me to go back and use for.
My favorite
legalities
part
and
of this
protecting me.
story is like 3 days after this happened, I'm like, Ev, hey, I have a renter, and it was for that condo that you had for rent. And and so I like shipped it to him, and then he called me and he had like some questions, and I was like, dude, I don't know, it's not my listing, just call Tom. And he was like, Jamie, he's really mad at me. I don't think I should call him.
No, it made me. I realized I overreacted maybe a little bit. I could have been a little softer with the whole thing, but then I saw 2 or 3 deals after that come through with your name on it, and I'm like, you know what? This guy's just fucking hustling. He's hustling. He's putting deals up, and he's just flying by the seat of his pants. But that's great. But that's the balance of sales. Like as salespeople, we're definitely messy people. We don't like to do the paperwork. We don't like to do the notes. We don't like to do the stuff that slows us down from making money. And this guy's out hustling. So, I appreciate you. But just know, like, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and it would save me, too. Like, I know Brojack had a whole
This
case where.
This guy is just singing like a canary, just dropping names left and right.
That's great.
But
Well,
carry on.
Love it.
He had.
No, we're talking about David Norris right now.
Well, he had a deal where he was able to look back through the notes and then basically protect his ass.
We're
due
talking
to
about the
those
Davis
notes.
Norris situation.
So now if something
where it
like
was
that would
lost.
have happened, if something down the road happens like that, I'll be like, there we go. That's exactly why he was on my ass for it.
Yeah, because we get sued for shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely happens. We
Right.
get sued, and anybody, like you said, it's a litigious society, and you can sue anybody for anything. And we do get sued for a lot because people are like, "Oh, it's a real estate company. They have lots of money. Fuck it. I know a lawyer. Let's sue them." So we get sued all the time, and it's stuff like that. It's notes. It's like the details that keep us out of trouble. So
Right.
that's why I'm passionate about it.
I was just trying to make you uncomfortable, so I think I did it a little. Your face turned a little red, so we're good.
It's because the shirt. is
So moving on, Ev.
All right.
So-
So I hear that you got a routine in the morning.
Yeah, I work out every morning at 5 with a former AHL hockey player. If you don't know what AHL is, it's a step down from the NHL.
Okay.
So
Who's that?
that's my store leader, Kevin Devo, and he looks like he shouldn't be able to lift as much as me, and he lifts more than me. So I obviously need to go on a diet and lift 2-a-days now. So
Are you
So,
kidding me?
question.
2 days?
So
Oh,
you
yeah,
work
have
out,
to.
So you work out with Devo.
Yes.
We all know Devo. Devo's on the show.
Yeah.
You
Guys-
were always on the show.
Guy's yoked.
He's a little animal.
Yeah. So
Reminds me
how?
of a Tasmanian devil.
So you guys work out together. How does Devo look like a Greek god and you look like Missy Elliott?
I asked myself the same thing. I
You
think it's
said Missy Elliott.
I'm
He
not gonna
called
blame.
you Missy Elliott.
I can sing like her. Jamie, I can sing like her,
Do
can't
it.
I can.
Drop a line.
That's
Do
for,
it- do
that's
it
for a
quick.
different podcast.
No, one time, go.
I can't.
You already said it.
Come on, man. You got one shot, man.
I should have had a little bit more liquor, and then I've been singing.
All
Let's
right,
go back to
we'll
Jelly
wait
Pumpkin.
15 minutes.
So
So you
yeah.
you work out with him in the morning, every single day.
Yes. So Monday through Friday at least, sometimes Saturdays.
So your alarm
with
goes off at 0500.
Yeah, it goes off at 4:45. I already have my clothes ready. Just grab them and go.
Do you live close to the office?
So I live 15 minutes from the gym, which is on Woodward, and that's like 5 minutes from the office.
So you meet him at 5.
At the gym. Yep.
Got it.
So I'm
And,
assuming you're part of the accountability group.
Yes. Yeah, which is great.
I mean, if
So-
you're gonna wake up that early, you better tell everybody you're doing it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
It doesn't
for
count if
sure.
you
Don't
tell
let that just
people.
go.
So let me ask you this: okay, so like before you started Real Team, what were you doing? You were in school,
I was
right?
in school. This is my
Okay.
first
So
job.
when you were in school, like what time would you wake up in the morning?
School.
5 minutes before class started. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
for school, I would stay up late. Yeah, I took a lot of classes
Mhm.
to cram it all out, so I didn't have as much debt.
Yeah.
And so
Smart. Look at that. That's
Where'd you go
that's
to school?
fiscal
I went to
responsibility.
Adrian College, go
Oh,
Bulldogs,
nice. Okay.
Mr. Toko.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got it.
yeah. And so it would depend. Sometimes I would get on streaks where I'd go to the gym in the morning because you just feel better working out in the morning.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't stick to it. I didn't have any accountability, right?
Really consistent with it.
Yeah, right. I didn't have
Sure.
accountability. I had my own room, could wake up whenever I wanted, right? So I would usually just have to stay up late studying, doing homework, and wake up. Yeah, you're right. 5 minutes before class, small campus,
Roll
just
out.
hustle.
Let me ask you something. So you had an expensive education.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't even what is Adrian to go to now? Like for a
It's-
year.
yeah,
Room
it's
and board
private,
and
it's
everything.
I think it's 48 now. face
48.
value.
Sorry. So you got a $200,000 education in that head. You immediately graduate and your first job is a commission only job in sales.
Yeah.
That doesn't require a degree.
Yeah. Nuts.
I love you even
Oh, yeah.
more. So why? Why?
So I did management with a focus in sales, and I love sales. It's great, and I know that that's really the route you have to first step into to really make the kind of money you're looking for, and then eventually work your way into a management role. But I also had an internship that I was doing during school for 25 hours a week, marketing, and I just knew that I couldn't do that the rest of my life, sit at a desk, work a desk job. I didn't feel any purpose. The money was good, but I didn't feel a purpose. I didn't feel like I was doing any good.
Got it.
Didn't feel recognized, nothing like that. So I knew that I had to do something for myself and something that I would feel fulfillment, selfishly trying to do something to make myself feel good, right?
Right.
While making money. So I was kind of just thinking around, and then real estate popped in my head. I knew Ryan Goody. He was he was dating my sister's best friend. And so I met him at a wedding, and he talked to me about it, and I figured, hell,
That's
give it a
awesome, man.
shot. Yeah.
So you don't. We're going back to your routine just for a second. So like Real Team standards, you have to be 4 out of 5 huddles, right?
Yeah.
That's the standards. Or now to hit the bonus, you have to be there at 8 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
So like, why the fuck are you waking up at 5 a.m. and getting to the office at 7 every single day? Because you don't have to.
Right. Well, me and Devo work out from 5 to 6. He takes off at 6 to go eat a good breakfast. And like I said, you said, who do I look like? Missy
Missy
Elliott?
Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look like Missy Elliott, so I
It's my window. I can't stand the
There you
rain.
go.
There it is.
I stay and do a little bit extra cardio to try to keep up with him, try to
Okay,
get
there you
as
go.
cut. And then in the office by 7. Reason for being in by 7, even though I can't call until 8, is to just organize my day. I'm not a very organized person. And if I don't set aside time to do it, it'd be a mess. So basically that's when I organize myself and I think about what I need to do for the day, my goals, my schedule, and then also send out properties to all my A buyers and go from there. If I didn't have that time, I'd jump in right at 8, just start dialing, and I'd forget about everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you're already kind of a mess, so thank
Exactly.
God for that hour.
One of the
Right.
smartest 22-year-old kids I've met.
I mean,
100%,
yeah, pretty
yeah.
advanced, right?
Right.
That's some high level shit right
He
there.
knows himself, right? It took
For
me a
sure.
long time to get to a point in life where I knew myself. I
Right.
would never have been that self-aware at 22.
Right. Self awareness is huge. So that's
sure.
awesome, man. Good job.
Thanks.
So I was going to ask you why are you so regimented, but you pretty much explained it all. So I guess my next question for you, Evan, is what do you find is the most challenging part of your job?
I would say the most challenging part of the job is you don't know who you're dealing with. You have there's so many different personality types out there, so many different schools of thought, and you come across all different types of people and all different types of theories, so in all different types of situations. So I guess the hardest part would be, remembering that you're the professional. One, when my first couple of deals, I kind of just let that go to the wayside, and the
you
whole
let the
time,
client steamroll you.
Yes, and the whole time, the rest of their way out, they lose the trust. they think that they're just as big of an expert, and then again they're looking at me like the age I look. You know, they're like, oh, this kid, you know, is young.
Well, you look like
you
you're
gave
12.
him control.
Right.
You give him control, and it's done.
Right. So one, just have to keep control, be the professional, and know how to manage all different types of people. You have to really get a good feel for someone, and then, you know, plan it out. You can't treat everyone the same. You have to go based off their personality type.
So, like, how do you deal with the clients that are just, like, super strong-willed and they fucking know everything?
The for sale by owners.
Yeah, let's call it the for sale by owners or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. How do you deal with those people that are so strong-willed and they agreed to work with you, but
Sure.
they still are like, dude, you're 22. Like, I know more than you. Like,
Right.
How do you deal with that?
Bringing up the team really helps. You know, just saying, you know, I went after this and I did my research. Here's what we need to do. But not only that, I talked to our negotiation specialist who's done over 1,000 closed deals, and she said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best case scenario. So just falling back on the team. You know, I don't have a huge laundry list resume, but I do have a team that supports me.
building it.
So
There you are.
Can you talk to me real quick about Zillow? What's that experience been like? And I think you're, if not the top, one of the top converters on Zillow, probably in the state.
nice.
You know, you get a lot of them.
Yeah. So Zillow's been huge for me. Basically, you just get random calls. You don't necessarily know
So
what
your
it's
phone
about.
rings.
Yes, your phone just rings, and you pick it up. Sometimes it goes straight to the consumer. Sometimes it goes to a service person, and then they connect you. And basically, it's just like trying to set appointments. You just got to get in front of them. No matter what, you got to get in front of them. That's the only way you're going to build trust and get a really good connection. You can't do that over the phone. So just set the appointment right away, get in front of them, and then go over things.
So that's the goal. Just get
there.
yeah. Look at them eye to eye.
Yep.
When did you start with us?
Last June.
So it's been a year and 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
First 3 months I didn't do any business, and I was starting to just, and I'm really hard on myself, really competitive, and I was starting to lose it. I mean I was working till 8 at night every night and just getting pissed, and you know, it ended up.
And then what?
starting to-
And then what
starting-
changed? Like what revelation did you have? What did you realize? Like what came to your mind that we were like, okay, this is gonna be okay?
You know, I got my first closed deal, and just gave me more confidence.
Isn't that first closing great?
Yeah, exactly. It gave
You're
me
like,
more
wow.
confidence.
You got to win.
Right.
I seem like a professional.
So
I'm
I
going
knew
to
I
this
could do it, and
closing.
I knew that the time that I put in was worth it. And I knew that, you know, if I can do it once, I can do it 25 times, I can do it 100 times, I can do it 1,000 times.
It's you can repeat it and it's scalable, right?
100%.
You start to organize your systems a little bit. You
Right.
figure out what works, what doesn't. You organize your time. Like Tom, we talk a lot about like time blocking, right? Like time is everything. Time is the most valuable asset that we have. And I was thinking about earlier, like it's really easy to say, oh my God, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. But when you really break it down and look at all the tasks you have to complete in a day, like you got plenty of time.
You got time.
It's all about how you organize it, right? And until you have a ton of stuff that you have to do on a regular basis, do you realize how precious your time really is? Because you end up not getting stuff
it's
done.
that first day where you really have more to do than you have minutes in the day that you figure something out, right? Because a lot of us, especially your first year in real estate, you never get to that point. You never have more to do than time in the day.
Right.
It's not until your second, third, fourth year that you get to that point, right? So it's once it hits you, that's when you need to have the habits already in place of the time blocking.
Right.
So you're on pace to do, looks like, I don't know, I'd put you around between 4 and 5 million this year. First year in real estate, right?
First
First full year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First full
I
year in
missed the
real
hot
estate.
season last year.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You know, I really want to do 12 million. Like that's my goal, $1 million a month.
Okay.
Me and
Wowsies.
Dave were kind of breaking down. I told him that a big goal of mine. Obviously, if you're a real estate agent, you want to be a listing agent, right? So I told him my big goal is to list 3 houses a month, every month, right? It doesn't matter if it's a winter market or not. 3 houses a month. And we were kind of going over how to do that. And it all comes down to the real estate conversations you have. And we calculated 20 to 25 real estate conversations a day, 5 or 6 days a week.
That's it.
It's pretty simple.
It's one of those things that doesn't change. Danny and I went into this huge algorithm and tried to figure things out. And at the end of 3 hours worth of just going through stuff and figuring stuff out, it came out to 20 contacts.
Like, well,
a
I have
day.
to talk to 20 people a day, like we
Right.
said 6 years ago.
We looked
so.
at all our stats. We looked
Right.
at everything. We tore everything apart. We did like conversion, everything. Came out to 20 conversations a day.
Yeah. Ev, what do you do when you're not working?
When I'm not working, I am either hanging out with my buddies, or
What are you guys
or
doing?
my girlfriend.
At Renshaw Lounge? You love Renshaw Lounge, eh?
Yeah, it's kind of the Clawson spot.
Right there on 14 Mile.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh, yeah.
pretty grimy. Yeah,
Renshaw, I like it there.
We
They
love
got
Renshaw.
they got really amazing pizza there.
Oh,
do.
yeah,
Good
they
food.
do.
yeah.
Good food. It's dirty.
So
What's
you know,
your favorite time to hang out at Renshaw Lounge?
oh, happy hour? Are you kidding me? Come on now.
Right?
Economical. It's you have to be.
That's true. What
So
else
how,
do you do?
Can I ask one thing? How are you? So you hang out with your buddies, right? And I'm sure they do other things that aren't real estate.
Sure.
How do you think you're doing compared to them?
Actually, I had this talk with Devo at one of our greatness coachings and how it sucks, right? Because obviously I could go and get a job, where last year I would have been able to stash away a lot of money. Not a ton of money, but 50, 55, 60K, with my degree and just interviewing at different places.
You'll make
And,
more than that this year,
yeah.
though.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, so it kind of sucked just kind of because I graduated a year early, so I wanted to be a year ahead, right? And obviously I'm not necessarily a year ahead, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, I'm technically an independent business owner and I'm working for myself. If I was at an organization, they could cut me tomorrow and it's over, right? I work for
So worth
myself.
it.
I work for my own dream. So maybe it's going to take a little bit, but it's worth it in the long run.
Don't you
for
wish
sure.
you would have got your real estate license when you were 22? I just think
I-
about
I had my real estate license at 23.
yeah.
And
You did it for 6 months, right?
I shit the bed. Yeah, so I had my license. I did it part time, and I got one deal. It was a referral from someone I work with at the present moment. Closed a $350,000 deal, and I'd never seen like $5,000-6,000 in my life at that time.
Did you get it all in ones and throw it on your bed, lay around in it?
No,
naked?
ask him what he did with it.
I don't remember what I did. What did I tell you? What did I do with it?
You bought something really stupid.
A Grand Am.
No, I had a Grand Am. I did have a Grand
You
Am.
already had a
that was my
Grand
first
Am.
car. My car
Blacked
was,
out the windows.
My car was the shit, man. My car, listen, black Grand Am 17. I had 16-inch chrome wheels. I upgraded in the 17s.
Stop.
Headlight covers, taillight covers, chrome exhaust
12 in the
tips,
back.
and a base light.
Beauty.
It was a hammer.
Hashtag Eastsider.
Oh yeah. But no, so I was in the business. I got in, and I was in and out in 6 months. And my broker felt so bad for me because I was just this young kid that I had racked up probably like $1,500 in like office dues and stuff like that.
Right.
And he'd never even.
Charged you.
Yeah, he just like. Just go on
Feel
about
bad
your
for you,
business,
kid.
right.
Get out of here.
Go back to the depot.
Go
Were you at
back
the
to
depot?
de-
Were
yeah,
you
I
at
was
the
at the
depot?
yeah, I was at the depot. at the
So,
time.
do you think things would have been different if you would have had like a real team environment?
Oh yeah, I tell people that all the time. The broker himself he's a great person and a great human being, and I still actually call him every couple of months to say hi to see how he's doing now. But the systems were not there. Like there was no training. Like, hey, bub, here you get to share this desk with somebody else in this shared office, and here's a thick book of I don't even remember of scripts. There were the thick book of scripts. Here, study those. And yeah, go have fun. And I had no idea. Like, I was like, all right. I remember the one time I forced myself to go to the office, and I knew that I had the cold call, and it scared me so much that I just sat there and browsed the internet, like for like whatever, just random.
Who would you call though? Like how were you guys?
What do you mean?
cold
Who did I
calling?
call? I didn't call anybody.
No, but if you were going to to cold call, like what would you guys have to do? Did you have like a dialer? What was happening?
No, there was no dial. It was all hand dialing. Go through this thick list of phone numbers and names. That was it. It was like Stone Age. So yeah, not like a real team environment at all. Like I tell that a lot. I say that a lot. Like a lot of the agents on our team that have never been at another brokerage have no idea what it's like out there. They have no idea what they have right here. You know what I mean? It's huge.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking about it the other day, and I think based off of, I'm assuming Mojo would happen regardless, no matter where I am. Counting Mojo as, the leads that I would be able to get with or without Real Team, it's like 5 of my 22 closed deals.
Right.
So essentially I'd have 5 closed deals. Yes, I did work on all the leads that I did close, but from, think about that. I'd have 5 deals,
Right.
'Cause
Versus
that's-
your 22.
Right. Right. It's all about
Because
lead
tough,
generation.
like when
is
you're
everything.
your age, you're 22 years old. Your friends aren't. A lot of them probably aren't buying houses quite yet. Like
No.
your SOI is not popping yet.
His SOI is going to pop in like 3 to 4 years.
3 years, he's just going
So
to be
you had
killing
better
it.
work your SOI, dude, because that's not like nothing bothers
Chandler
me.
Nash 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Nothing drives me more crazy than when someone tells me that their friends aren't buying right now, and I'm like, your friends have parents, your friends have aunts, your friends have uncles, your friends have neighbors. Like, there's so much opportunity. It's so like there's just unlimited amounts of business out there and unlimited amounts of income, and it's up to you. Like, you're up till you're 18 years old. Your parents tell you what to do. After 18, like, you got to push yourself to do it on your own. Like, even if you don't feel like doing it, you got to stop and tell yourself, fucking get it in gear and go do this. Right. And so, like, it's on you. Like, you can make anything you want happen as long as you just focus on it.
It's true.
Yeah, I definitely have to dial in on SOI more. I've had one referral close and then one SOI that I actually met at the gym. And besides that, that's all I've had that, from that side. But I'm sure, if I'm calling my buddies and saying, I know you're not ready, right? But I know that you have aunts, cousins,
Here's the question.
uncles.
So, anybody that knows your name, right? All the people that you know that know your name, what are you doing to make sure that when they see a for sale sign or they see something real estate, anything that's real estate, your name immediately pops in their head? Like, that's what you need to be thinking, right? Is like, what is it I have to do to make sure that when one of my friends or my friend's friends thinks about real estate, they think Evan.
Right.
That's the challenge.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
figure that out, and you're gonna have a trade. You know what I mean? A career, a trade, something that you can fall back on the rest of your life.
Right.
For sure. Ev, what are you doing in 5 years?
5 years.
What's your 5-year goal?
So my 5-year goal, which has basically been a thing since day one, right? I got a management degree. I enjoy that. So my 5-year goal has always been to become a store leader, like Dave, like Devo. That if you're with, a company like this that has those kind of opportunities, that has the growth mindset that we do here at Real Team, there's, that's the route you really got to go if you want to, be in that side of things, you want to be a leader.
So how are you going to do that?
Well, sticking to just working hard, being first in, first out mindset. That's going to get you far. If you have the work ethic, you're already halfway there.
It's called being the obvious choice.
Sure. Yeah.
Just make yourself the obvious choice.
Right. So just continue to, work harder than everyone else, continue to, learn from the people that are there and, are making it, right? Just study their playbook, become an expert.
What's this deal we were talking about earlier that you wouldn't let him tell me about until we got on the show?
Oh, the one
okay.
that's just got
hold
accepted,
on.
I think,
Yeah.
actually,
So hold
as we
on.
speak.
So it's okay because I'll preface it with Evan didn't do anything illegal.
Okay, good.
So Dave and I are at the bar having a drink. Evan comes up. He pulls his stool up. He doesn't even have a drink yet, and he's like, I wish you guys could see his body language because he's very uncomfortable. And he's like, so guys, how much trouble could I get in for leaving a buyer at a house by themselves? So we just start dying laughing. I'm like, you're just joking around. And he's like, well, I had to go. And I was like, all right, I need more. So now Evan can tell the story, but his body language was so funny because he was just so uncomfortable. And he was like, how much trouble could I get in?
So this guy's awesome. He calls himself Jimmy the Greek. He always says Jimmy
Calls
the
himself
Greek.
Jimmy the Greek.
Always Jimmy the Greek.
Is he Greek?
Oh yeah.
Is his name Jimmy?
I can't pronounce his last name, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's and he's a great guy. And he's super knowledgeable. He's just a businessman, really. He talks to everyone. Every time I call him on the phone, he's always in a conversation with a random person introducing himself. We met at a Starbucks. I couldn't even get a word out across from him after we first met. He talked to 3 different people right next to us. So I was like, this guy's going to be a referral machine.
Oh, yeah. That's
Love
the kind
that.
of person you want.
Yeah.
You want a motor mouth of
Right.
Right. So he
Hashtag Andrew Vitalgio. Shout out to you.
What up,
Okay,
Andy?
go ahead.
So we go and see some homes on Sunday. There's one that he might be interested in, but it's got a lot of issues. He decides not to go with it, which is probably a smart move. Inspection would have been terrible. So then Monday we go back out. We look at some homes. Found one in Livonia he loves. And the seller just so happened to be there. Seller was a cool guy. And he was talking to us, like showing us the house because Jimmy the Greek was like, you have to give us a tour, man. You're here. Give us a tour. So he was like, okay. So he leads the way, shows us everything, tells us all the issues, tell us all the good things about it. Oh, yeah. It was nuts. And so we were in the house for 40 minutes maybe. This guy loves to talk.
Is this a FSBO or is it represented by another agent?
It's represented by another agent.
Wow. Okay.
Actually a past real teamer, actually.
Okay.
And so 40 minutes inside the house, we go to walk outside of the house. As we're walking out, the seller's not there, so I tell Jimmy, hey, Jimmy, 7 p.m., I've got an appointment. It's about a half an hour away. I have to hit the road soon, so let's take a quick look and let's go. Because I knew he was going to talk forever. So we walk around the house. 10 minutes later, he goes, hey, you want to have a smoke? Because he saw that the guy smokes. And I go, Jimmy, come on, man. So I just tell him, I say, well, I'll let you guys talk. You cool with it, seller? He was like, yeah, he's awesome. So I was like, okay, I'll see you guys. I sprinted to my car.
You left your buyer with the seller.
Yes, I did. Sprinted to my car and left.
That could have gone either way.
Love it.
Yeah. So.
But they negotiated the deal themselves.
So essentially, he negotiated the deal. I don't know why I'm getting paid. He did.
It's the beauty
he
of the
did
business,
wonders.
man.
He did wonders. He negotiated a really good deal.
Under asking?
Yeah. Oh yeah. With concessions, with repairs, all up front. The guy doesn't even need an inspection. Like,
It's all done.
essentially. Yeah, it's all done. I just heard that they're accepting our offer. They're just waiting for signing. He did everything, and he's like, "Good work, man. You're doing great."
Jimmy, I can just tell I've never met this guy, but Jimmy's the kind of guy that's going to say Evan did an amazing job. For me.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
gonna
Oh,
refer
for
you to
sure.
a bunch of people.
Oh,
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
So you
great
never
guy.
know who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet him.
Right.
That's
Crazy, right?
awesome.
Right.
Speaking of Greek,
Love him.
I hear you're doing a little trip here, there, bub.
Oh yeah.
Where are you going?
So actually, I always say when people ask me like, why are you going for 20 days? You know, like that's kind of crazy. Like, don't you have to work? And I actually tell them my company's making me, and the reason is our greatness coaching. We have the big
Yeah.
goal, your
Yeah.
your yearly goal for 2019, and mine's always been to finally achieve my goal of going over to Europe, and specifically Greece and Italy.
Cool.
So I have to do it this year, right? Don't want to go in the winter. So I booked it, and me and my girlfriend are going. So it's actually her homeland and mine, Greece and Italy.
That's awesome.
So
man.
finally gonna go ahead and do that and get it
Wait,
done.
how long are you going for?
20 days.
So this
when are
whole
you
real
leaving?
estate thing's working out for you.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny you mentioned that, Tommy. Jamie, go ahead.
Well, what's nice too is that what's great about it is the business I have right now that I know needs to get to the closing table or is about to happen. I have people to fall back on. Where
Well, you have a
anywhere
team.
else I wouldn't.
Right.
Anywhere else, if
Yeah,
it was
if you were
just-
at Keller
if it was just
Williams,
Evan
you'd be
DeSantis,
fucked.
Evan DeSantis with
Like, what do I do?
Remax, what would I do?
What would you
I
do?
couldn't go on a vacation.
Couldn't do it.
There's no way.
That's
Hey.
great, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
That's cool.
I'm also happy for you. And how much is it? How much is it going to cost you to go to Greece?
So listen here, I got a great deal, right? So I guess
I got a real good deal.
I guess a lot of Greeks, my girlfriend said, use this one travel agency, and they get
Oh,
really good deals
man.
on flights. So it's Delta, which is actually ends up being like Paris or France Airlines. I
Yeah,
don't know.
okay, got it.
KLM.
And and we got the flight round trip to Athens and then back from Venice, Italy, for $850.
That's cheap.
$850,
That's
$890
cheap.
round trip.
That's really cheap.
And I didn't even know. I know that it takes a while on the plane. I had no idea. I'm getting dinner. I'm getting drinks. So I was like, wow, this is. I mean, it's
Where are
like
you
a-
staying over there? Airbnbs or just
So
hotels?
first 5 days we're staying with her family, 2 different family members in Greece, and then
Where in Greece?
Athens
Oh.
outskirts, and then the rest of the 15 days we're doing like a tour. So we're doing some time in Greece and then some time in Italy, and they take care of the hotel arrangements and everything.
So I
It's the
asked,
beauty of this business, man. You can take a vacation like that. Like you
Well,
can
yeah, like-
achieve dreams.
Like he was talking about earlier, like, I asked you how you're doing compared to your friends or whatever. Those guys are locked into the 9-5, right? Like they have to beg somebody. They couldn't get 20 days off. They couldn't. They
Not
have
straight,
to.
no way.
They'd have to stop their job and start a new one, or like make some bullshit up to get 20 days off. Can't do that. Is that really living? I mean, it's worth it. It's worth putting the grind in for a year to not make the 60 grand,
Right.
to turn around and a year later be able to do whatever the hell you want and go on a 20-day vacation.
Right, and I mean, just about everyone you ask that's over the age of 40, 50, they say, they wish they were to travel when they could.
Right.
Once you have kids, it's a lot harder to go ahead and do that, so got to just get
Good
it
for
done.
hey Tom, if you were going to take a guess, let's take like the airfare out of it. We know like he's traveling. and I guess they're paying for his stay. But like, if you were just gonna take a guess on how much money Evan was going to spend
I'm frugal.
while he was there,
I'm frugal.
I need none from the peanut gallery.
Shush.
How much would you guess that he was gonna spend?
Well, I mean, the dollar's pretty strong right now against the euro.
Yeah.
So are we talking about in euros or dollars?
Let's just call
Like
it
in American
just let's
dollars.
make
I
it
mean,
simple.
Like
if
food,
I were
drinks,
him, if I were
activities.
him, I would put $5,000 in an envelope. I'd want to spend. I'd want a budget for $5,000
Okay.
to have a good time.
I think that's
Sure.
about right. 5 to 7,500.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, and that's with the flight being covered. That's
Yeah.
with a lot of the trips.
That's after
the
everything.
hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
A lot of pasta.
So I told Ev,
It's a lot of
I was like,
pasta.
Ev,
Well,
you're
it
gonna
depends on
spend
where
at
you stay too, right?
Sure.
So like if you're staying in like hostels and stuff, it could be real cheap.
Right.
You can travel cheap.
Yeah.
right, but they're not staying in hostels. So I told Ev, I was like, Ev, you have $7,500. She's like, no, it's gonna cost me a couple grand, no question. And I was like, what do you mean it's gonna cost you a couple grand? And he's like, yeah, we're not gonna eat that much. I'm like, dude, if you don't have $5,000 with you, he's like, well, I don't have that much money right now.
Not that I want to spend on a trip.
He was like,
He
well, I
does
don't
too.
well, he
He
has
does
the money,
too.
but he
I've
looked at
seen
me
his
like I
commissions
shocked
lately.
him, and
He's
I was like,
got it.
you're leaving for 3 weeks and you weren't planning on spending $5,000. And he was like, I was thinking 2 max. I was like,
We'll see.
All right.
We'll
good.
see.
We'll
So
see.
fire round. So we're gonna ask you some rapid questions. You're gonna give us
Man.
rapid answers. Okay.
This is
Doesn't
not
have to be
good.
super,
Right at
super,
that,
super.
right at the Kopsky.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be super lengthy. Just first
Okay.
top off your head. So what's the first question? What's it like having Diva as your store leader?
It's amazing.
Why?
I just want to mimic everything he does. If I can be the next Evo, I'm pretty happy and content with my life.
Would you go down on Devo?
I'll outlift
Yes
him.
or no?
I'll outlift him any day.
It's aggressive,
Okay.
man.
I'll
Can
pick
you
up his
squat?
weight.
Can you
if his-
squat more than Devo?
No, absolutely not. and that's bad because I played soccer. You know,
You got bigger pipes than him. You got
I
bigger
would.
biceps.
I do look bigger,
No,
but
his
I'm not.
his arms have more fat.
Well, I look bigger. My chest is a lot. Look at this.
Oh.
They call me the brick shit
It's
house.
Missy Elliott all day. I love it.
So
Is it worth it?
yes, I'd pick a weight up off of his chest, but no, go down on. I can't say it.
That's a no.
Yeah.
No.
That's a
Even,
lot.
What if he shaved?
Also,
Don't
okay,
bitch.
also very aggressive.
I don't think he does either.
All right, man. Moving on, man.
All right, I just threw up in my mouth thinking about that. That's repulsive. Evan, drink of choice, go.
Whiskey Coke, just plain and simple.
Jack.
Just give me well. If once you're drunk enough, you don't really taste it, right?
Or,
But I do like Jack-
you're 22 enough.
I do. Yeah, I just got out of college, guys. But Jack Honey is really good.
Oh.
I do like Jack Honey.
Okay.
First word that comes to your mind when I say the name Jamie Proper.
Outstanding.
All
Wow,
right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was a good
Descriptive.
one. That was really nice. What are your 2 favorite things in the world?
Wow.
Quick.
Gotta be quick.
Success and happiness.
Your 2 favorite material things in the world.
Houses.
Come on, man.
And
I
cars.
like it. I like
Houses
it.
and cars.
Yeah, those
Houses
are
and
big
cars.
ones.
I
Those
mean,
are
that's
the
what
big
people
ones.
work for,
That's
right?
what we'll spend money on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good answer, Evan. Don't
Oh,
let
yeah.
them talk you off that answer.
All right. Well,
If you were gonna jump off a cliff, right? You jumped off a cliff. You did. You already did it.
All right.
No parachute. You're just dropping. What are the last thoughts going through your head?
Am I going to heaven or hell?
What do you think now?
I think I'm going to heaven.
You do?
Yeah. I mean.
He answered with an upswing. I think heaven.
I mean. That's what. That's what my head's telling me. I mean.
Good.
Oh,
That's good.
maybe I should say an extra prayer tonight.
Listen to your
Well, hey,
heart.
buddy. I think you're doing a great job. Thanks for all the hard work that you do for yourself and our company. You make us look really good.
Thank you.
Thanks for the
Appreciate it.
grind.
Thank
job,
you
man.
for helping me get a start in a business that I just like Dave said, I don't think it would really be achievable anywhere else. I definitely know that if you're starting your business, you got to be with someone at least like Real Team, and I don't think there's many people like Real Team out there. So
We're
thank
proud of you. We love you, even though we don't tell you all the time because you're a little turd, but
thank you.
we're thankful for you.
good
Thanks.
job, man. Good job. All right. So, thanks for listening. Jamie, who's on the show next time?
The one and only Anthony Choco.
Ooh, tickle.
Don't miss that episode. That'll be a really, really good
We
podcast.
should probably slap for like 3 hours because his laugh will take up a lot of the podcast.
We're going to have to tell him to stay away from the mic because it's going to like,
Oh,
dude,
it's gonna be wet.
Yes.
Mike's
Oh,
gonna be
he was
wet.
at the gym today
Jessica's getting nervous.
because he was working at OP, and yeah, dude, he was boiling.
He gets.
But he was
after
wearing
it.
a full on sweatsuit.
Yeah.
He's like James Harrison from the Steelers. Like, dude wears long sleeves everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. We appreciate you. Thanks again, Evan. And we will see you
you.
in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.